Did you know that Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, once claimed to have over $600 million in debt? And here's the kicker: leveraging debt is one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in America today. Rich Dad, Poor Dad has been a personal finance Bible for millions, but is it teaching dangerous habits? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Kiyosaki's philosophies and examining the risk they don't warn you about. Welcome back to Simply Money. Today we're looking into Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the philosophies behind the book and the author, Robert Kiyosaki. The book glamorizes the idea of leveraging debt as a tool for wealth, promoting it as a key strategy for financial freedom. But here is the reality. Robert Kiyosaki himself admits to leveraging hundreds of millions of dollars in debt for investments. While it worked for him, this strategy is incredibly high risk and not suitable for the average person. According to the American Bankruptcy Institute, over 60% of personal bankruptcies are tied to debt mismanagement, often stemming from risky financial moves encouraged by books just like this. Let's look at the flaws in detail. 1. Kiyosaki's debt philosophy. He advocates for using good debt to acquire income-producing assets. But with $600 million in debt, Kiyosaki operates on a level of wealth and financial safety nets that most of us don't have. For the average person, even a small misstep with leveraged debt, like rental properties going vacant, can spiral into financial disaster. We have to remember that it's not guaranteed that the rental that you buy is going to be paying your mortgage. The misunderstanding a lot of people have is they think, oh, I will borrow money for the mortgage, I'll rent it out, and then the renters will be paying the mortgage. In theory, that's how it's supposed to work. But vacancies, things happen, markets drop, and things change. And if you're caught not being able to make that mortgage payment yourself and the renters aren't renting, you are no longer going to be able to afford that house, and it could jeopardize your financial future. Number 2 is the bankruptcy statistics. Roughly 1 in 7 Americans who try to leverage debt for investments end up filing for bankruptcy. And studies show that only a small percentage ever recover financially. Bankruptcy can be a financial disaster and totally derail your future of financial freedom. Number 3 is risk without backup plans. Kiyosaki's advice often skips over the importance of emergency funds, diversified portfolios, and other safety measures. For example, 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, meaning they don't have the flexibility to take on the risk that he promotes. That is the danger when the book neglects to talk about having that safety net. The biggest danger is the illusion that debt is a guaranteed stepping stone to wealth. Kiyosaki's own businesses have filed for bankruptcy multiple times, including his company, Rich Global LLC, in 2012. This highlights how even the most experienced investors can fail when they over-leverage. The lesson here? The stakes are even higher for those without his level of financial literacy or safety nets. Are you willing to gamble your future away? I'm not saying to not get rentals. I'm not saying to not have any debt. I'm not going to that extreme. I love Dave Ramsey and what he teaches. I think he teaches amazing stuff. But I'm not even going to that extreme saying not to have any debt. But what the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad proposes is leveraging yourself. And if something goes south, even a little bit, you are held holding the bag and will have to file bankruptcy, and it can derail your financial future. Are there good things in the book? I'm sure you can dig and find some things and principles that are useful, but the premise of the book is about leveraging debt. The entire premise of the book about creating income flow is great, but the method and philosophy of doing it by leveraging debt, to me, is dangerous and sets the average person up for failure or the possibility of disaster. Do some people succeed? Absolutely. If nobody succeeded doing it, then nobody would ever try it again. The problem is a few succeed, and even those who fail, maybe they recover or they promote it in such a way that it makes others and everyday average people want to try it. Dave Ramsey is one of the greatest examples of this, how he, at a young age, was worth millions because he was leveraged so high. But when the banks called for his loans to be paid and he wasn't able to pay them and he went bankrupt, and that changed his whole trajectory. Thankfully, he was able to recoup and refocus, and he is stuck to his plan. That's why he's so adamant about his no debt philosophy. Kiyosaki promotes using debt to an extreme level that I think is very dangerous. What's your opinion of Kiyosaki? What's your opinion of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Leave your comments down below. I'd be interested in your take and why, if you follow his philosophy, why do you choose that method? What is your reasoning behind it? Hey, everyone has to make their own decision. I'm not saying you're doing it wrong if you don't do it this way. I'm just saying my recommendation is don't leverage debt. Do it the slow and steady way of investing by living below your means and putting money into index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, and investing for long term. If you want to buy rentals and get into income streams through rental, then make sure that you're not leveraged on those. Does it mean you have to totally pay for it 100% cash? Yeah, that'd be ideal, but perhaps not. But you should be putting down so much that you are not relying upon that income to make the note. If you can't pay the note without the renter, then you shouldn't have it, in my opinion. That's my opinion for whatever it's worth. What's your thought? Again, leave it in the comments. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little bell for notifications of future videos, and we'll see you next time on Simply Money.